Hey guys, what's up? Coming at you from Casa de Vacanti. And right now, I would like you to know that I am only 73% sober, 74 tops. I get this question a lot, right? It's about alcohol and training and how can you be a functioning alcoholic without killing your gains. So I'd like to reveal to you, behold, this is the Venn diagram for the Roman system of inebriation. We have three main factors, right? So three main components of how to be drunk, how to imbibe alcohol, I think is slightly less aggressive, and not have any ill effects. You need to manage the intake of all three of these integral substances in order to be able to have a great time without experiencing any deleterious effects. What if you only do two of these substances? So over here, if you manage alcohol intake correctly, if you have enough alcohol and enough food, makes sense, right? Now, here's the thing. You're not gonna get that drunk because the energy intake is gonna keep you relatively sober, which means you wind up consuming more alcohol. But if you do not manage water intake correctly, boom, world's worst hangover. Do not do that. You don't wanna be here. The next day you will regret it. You're gonna oversleep, you're not gonna make it to the gym, you're gonna miss your stop on the gains train. On the other hand, if you manage alcohol intake correctly and you get enough water, but you do not get enough food, you wind up with what we call WGW, or white girl wasted. You will be sloppy as fuck. You'll probably wake up without a hangover, which is good. However, in order to be sure that you get drunk enough to party and have all the fun, that you do not get sloppy, and that you wake up without a hangover, you need to hit all three of these in the right amounts. And that's what I call God mode. Now, we've represented it with KC, or the Konami code, because managing these things correctly is the alcoholic equivalent of entering up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. Now, the first thing you need to do is know your fucking tolerance, right? There are a lot of guys, a lot of women, I think, who just don't realize that they're maybe not as adept at drinking alcohol as they would like to believe. To know exactly how many drinks it is going to take you to get drunk. For every drink, you want to make sure you have one less glass of water. So if you have 6 drinks, 5 glasses of water. Why? Well, you don't want to dilute too much, right? Because liquor is a poison, and the solution for pollution is dilution. So you don't want to dilute too much because then you're just not going to be drunk enough and it's not going to be fun. As for the food, this is entirely up to you, but what I do recommend is that you eat before you go out. You tend to overeat like a fucking maniac as you start getting drunk. Alcohol in and of itself isn't making anyone fat, but it's the choices we make while we're drunk that lead to 1, amazing stories, but 2, bad food decisions. Whatever your calories and macros are for the day, you hit those plus or minus 10%, depending on where you would like to be with regard to drunkenness. I personally go about below 10%, so I can get extra drunk with less alcohol. And I eat that before I go out, before I leave the house. So now I've had enough energy for the day. I backload my calories, so you're gonna have the last 30 to 40% of your calories right before you go out. And then you can start drinking like a boss, and as long as you're maintaining adequate water intake, you're in God mode. So let's review. Manage alcohol intake, manage food intake, manage water intake. Never have one of these substances alone if you are trying to live what I call an awesome life. Oh, we never actually covered this. This is probably the worst place to be. If you have enough food and enough water, but not enough alcohol, LOL, why? We just have the womp womp factor over here where you're not gonna be drunk and you're just wasting money on alcohol that isn't doing anything, and all you're doing is taking shots to catch up with your friends. What you want is to enter the Konami code. 1 drink below however many alcoholic beverages, 1 drink of water below however many alcoholic beverages, about 10% less of your daily caloric intake, and then you are right here in God mode. As for the alcohol, I recommend bourbon, but that's up to you. All right, so that is the Roman system for adequate inebriation and hitting God mode while being able to be productive and jacked.